me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking parks and rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
Got a lot of people interested in the organization. I guess now looking forward with Save the Ponds, our biggest focus is focused on applying for any additional grants that we may be interested in, as well as getting corporate and business donations kind of at a larger scale. The community is great, and the community has shown us a lot of love, given us quite a lot of funds as well.
Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, where we celebrate the people who build, protect, and inspire our public spaces. Today's guests are Jaydin Johnson and Rick Hatkowski, passionate leaders working to bring new life to outdoor recreation and conservation in Mecosta and Newaygo counties. Jaydin and Rick have been instrumental in the development of the Dragon Trail, an award-winning backcountry trail that opened last September and is already drawing outdoor enthusiasts from near and far. They're also leading the Save the Ponser initiative, a heartfelt effort to preserve a beloved local fish hatchery and community space with deep ties to the region's heritage. Through their work, they're creating new opportunities for people to connect with nature, support local businesses, and enjoy all the amenities their counties have to offer, from scenic parks to vibrant breweries. So sit back and enjoy this inspiring conversation with Jaydin Johnson and Rick Hatkowski right here on the Daily Parks and Rec Show. All right, we're live again. This is Craig LeBlanc with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Sorry, we're a little bit late, having some storm and technical internet issues, but we've got Jaydin Johnson and Rick Hatkowski. Am I saying that last one correctly? Okay.
Yep.
And they are a real special treat for us. We have a park system that is self-sustaining, and they also have a couple of cool projects that we wanted to highlight. But how are y'all doing this week so far?
Doing great so far. Enjoying. It's been great weather up here in Midwest Michigan. It's been a great time. It's been great.
Real good. Thanks a lot, Craig, for having us on. It's sunny and 70 here right now.
Oh, fantastic. Well, it's 70, but definitely not sunny over here in South Louisiana. So we wanted to go ahead and highlight the what they have as a Dragon Trail. It's a 42-mile trail system, but maybe y'all can give us a little what is the Dragon Trail? How do they get started? And then we can show y'all some other cool stuff about it.
Sure.
Yeah, for sure. The Dragon Trail is a collaborative project that we work on with Newaygo County Parks in Newaygo County. So about 20 minutes from Mecosta County, borders us. It was kind of started about over 10 years ago at this point. It was a 10+ year, $2.5 million project that was involved in Newaygo County, Mecosta County, volunteership agreements with the West Michigan Mountain Biking Alliance. It is 47 miles around. It goes around Hardy Pond, which is also the site of one of the world's largest earthen hydroelectric dams in the country, or actually in the world, I believe. So It's a really interesting area, a lot of great nature, great ATV trails, a lot of stuff going on over there. So the main kind of focus of the Dragon Trail initially was just getting along rock terrain, very, very great trail for everyone who's interested in mountain biking, hiking, cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, essentially any outdoor recreation year-round to bring more tourism, more folks to the county to get to experience northern Michigan in a better light.
Fantastic. Any idea how big that electrical grid production is? How many megawatts it produces?
I'm actually not sure on the megawattage. I know Consumers Energy is the owner of the property, and it definitely, I believe it supplies energy to a decent portion of both Newaygo and Mecosta County, but don't quote me on that exactly.
Yeah, I know the world is looking for cheap energy right now with all the AI and Bitcoin miners starting to hog all excess energy. So I do a nightly show on Bitcoin, and all my miners are like, any stranded gas, stranded energy, whatever, they're looking for it. Okay, so and now it just recently got finished, didn't they? Recently opened at least a chunk of it.
Yeah.
Yep, we finished. We had our grand opening at the end of September 2024, so it was just officially opened. We did start trail counting during those last few months of the year and during those last few months of construction, and I believe we have between 100 and 200,000 visitors in just 2024 alone, both from all across Michigan, the U.S. We've had a couple from Germany take the trail, come all the way over here just to ride the dragon. So it's been a great opportunity to bring more money, more people, and a more community to the area.
And what's the population of this area?
Mecosta County has about 16,000 households. I believe a little over 100,000 residents total in the whole county. So it's not very large. And then Newaygo County is similar in size. It's a little bit larger in area, but so it's a great and the area does rely on tourism heavily throughout the year for snowmobiling in the winter down to our campers in the summer. So it's a great opportunity to collaborate with both counties, bring more people to the area. Great opportunity to get people in the area out there to utilize our accommodations out there and get some ecological engagement going.
Yeah. Now, what's the elevation or the range of elevation over the trail?
Yeah, the elevation. There's definitely some areas that are pretty low down to the pond. I'd say probably at the highest, it's going to be a little over 1,000 feet above sea level, depending on the area. We are in kind of a hillier area in Michigan. Once you kind of hit that the northern part of the state, it gets a lot hillier. So
I know that's what the mountain bikers are looking for, that drop in elevation so they can go up and down.
Yeah, it's got great rock outcroppings as well. Some great scenic overlooks for the hikers, bikers. It's got 13 overlooks over the pond around 47 miles. So
now, how many are y'all expecting to get this year? Have y'all done any kind of forecast or, maybe looking at 1 month and then multiply it times 12? Any idea what that number might end up being?
Yeah, we haven't done any forecasting to be exact, but we are kind of expecting at least 200,000 plus visitors to the trail this year. We're hoping for more, of course, but just in the sense that there's about 7-8 campgrounds that kind of surround the trail. Not all of them are ours, just 2 of them are ours, and then the rest would be over in Newaygo County. So we're hoping that paired with that, as well as people traveling from all over just specifically for the trail, people from the cities downstate in Grand Rapids, Detroit that want to get an experience with us, hoping to get at least 200,000 this year.
And so what does that mean as far as economic impact? Y'all have, you said two campgrounds. And so what's the economic drivers on those campgrounds?
Yeah, so we have Broward County Park over at the north end of the trail, and that has a 1.5 mile loop of the dragon, so you don't have to take the whole thing over there. It does have just that 1.5 miles, and then we also have a day use area, Davis Bridge County Park, which is primarily picnicking, boat launches, stuff like that, with potential in the future to hopefully get a rustic campground out there as well, depending on demand with the Dragon Trail, as we see the economy kind of boost in the area due to the trail. There's so many restaurants, breweries, various other local businesses that could really use the boost in these times. So
yeah, and so I actually have the website here. Can we look at some of those? Is this part of it, or the website?
Yep, that'll be the website for Michigan's Dragon. Newaygo County primarily focuses on the Dragon Trail website, but it's a group effort in marketing.
And this is kind of what they'd be seeing. This is what was built as part of the Dragon Trail?
Yep, that would be one of our overlooks. Like I said, we have about 13 of those. One of our bridges, a lot of those were kindly provided through community donations. So the Visitors Bureau in Mecosta County donated a bridge. You can also see some of our trail partners, which would include Newaygo County, Consumers Energy as a property owner of the area, as well as the Big Rapids Visitor Center, and our volunteer agreement with the West Michigan Mountain Biking Alliance. We have a volunteer trail maintenance agreement with them. So all of the grooming, stuff like that with the trail is all on a volunteer basis through West Michigan.
Yeah, it looks like you had 9 partners that kind of piled in on this to fund it. Now, was it already
a huge effort? Sorry?
Was it already somewhat in existence and they just kind of started to develop it?
No, I don't believe so. It was the area is primarily Consumers Energy owned land, as well as state and national forest land. So it was a great and about 10, 15 years ago, we had a bunch of people in the community, various park commissioners for both counties, kind of connected and decided that a collaborative kind of effort to create a long-standing backcountry trail in this area, which is something that we are lacking, would be a great opportunity to get something like that out here.
Yeah, and so this is kind of that's kind of what they'll be riding on.
Yeah, so it offers a lot for everybody. It offers that natural rock outcropping and kind of harsher terrain for the seasoned mountain bikers, but it also offers some more flat, lower level terrain for those that want to just hike or snowshoe or just take the pets or the family out for a walk.
Now, are there any events that y'all host on the trail throughout the year?
Not yet. That is something that we are kind of in the works and planning right now. That's a discussion that we're going to be having this year as Newaygo County is bringing in a new director for their park system. But in 2026, we're looking to start planning events out on the trail to get more people out there, charity bike rides, more community events as well.
Yeah, it says right here that you have over 2,000 campsites, I guess, all around it. And so how many campsites do y'all have?
For Mecosta County as a whole, we would have just over 700. Our campground over on the Hardy Pond with the vicinity of the Dragon Trail has 230. So a decent chunk. They also have about 10 cabins over at Brower Park.
And so give us an idea as far as what's the economy, what's that mean to y'all? What's y'all's yearly revenue? What did y'all have last year? And kind of what are y'all expecting to get?
Yeah, for sure. Well, last year we had a pretty decent year. Obviously, we had a huge peak during 2020, 2021, 2022 with COVID, the impact of that. Last year and this year, we're kind of looking at potentially less visitors throughout the year as outdoor recreation kind of slows down again. This year, we've seen nationally kind of a declining trend in campgrounds and camping in the past year or so. But we are hoping to kind of match revenue as needed. I believe last year, the revenue of Brower Park in particular was somewhere around $250,000, and we're hoping to get up there again this year.
And then, so is it mostly just from fees on the trail, or is the trails kind of free and then y'all just kind of rent out the campgrounds? Is that kind of how it works, or give me a little break?
So all of our funding comes directly through selling our vehicle passes for the year, the daily vehicle and annual vehicle permits. We do also have a collaborative pass with Newaygo County that offers you access into both county park systems for a slight discount rather than buying one sticker for each. And then the rest of our revenue comes primarily from just camping fees, overnight camping fees, renting out pavilions, cabins, and stuff like that. So we are fully self-funded. We also get some grant funding. I know we got a couple grants for the completion of the Dragon Trail, such as some excise tax money, stuff like that, as needed, but primarily those vehicle passes and camping fees for all the parks.
And that's where you said you're roughly about $500,000 is what y'all are pushing there.
Yeah, it depends on the park, depends on the year. Brower, like I said, kind of sticks around $250,000 in revenue, but overall, in terms of revenue for all 8 of our parks, from day use to campgrounds, I'd say we pull in a revenue of about $2 million a year.
Oh, okay. And so, and y'all sustain yourself completely off that revenue, so y'all don't have any kind of contribution from like a property tax or a local tax or anything like that?
Oh, we wish.
But yeah, we've tried a couple times in the past few years to get some millages passed, and unfortunately those didn't go through. So yeah, pretty much all of our revenue goes directly back into the parks, paying our seasonal workers, any park improvements as necessary. The marijuana excise tax funding in Michigan has been a great help as well in receiving grant funds. I know we've received quite a bit of funding in marijuana excise taxes to contribute to playground renovations, adding safety precautions to playgrounds. We've also had
Lost you there.
We've also had some ADA compliant sites put in over at School Section Lake, which is another one of our parks as a result of the marijuana excise tax. So that's also been a great help since the legalization a few years back.
And then the Paris ponds there at the hatchery. I mean, we received some MET funds last year. We're applying again this year. So it's been helpful. We did some millage attempts in recent years, and it just didn't go through. So I mean, we're getting by.
Yeah.
It is all, self-sustaining.
Now, tell me more about the campsites. Is it just kind of like a fire ring, primitive campsites, or some of them have electricity and maybe hookups for RVs? And then you said you had a few cabins. Kind of give me the whole rundown of all the different sites.
Yeah, for sure. Again, that kind of depends on the park. So, in terms of our 4 modern campgrounds, we have Broward County Park, School Section, Lake Veterans Park, Marlboro County Park, and Paris Park. All of those offer a more modern camping experience. So we do. They have bathhouses, kind of playgrounds, more stuff for the family-friendly fun to do as well. And those are primarily, they'll have a picnic table, fire rings, and that's kind of the extent of that. And in terms of cabins, we do have primarily rustic cabins, so just kind of bed, kind of a place to sleep for the night, a more rustic camping experience. And then we do also have some modern cabin options over at School Section Lake, which would involve those will have like a little kitchenette, electric, as well as more bedroom space for everyone to hang out as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then in terms of actual hookups, we do offer full hookup at 2 of our parks. That would be Paris and School Section. And then we do also offer 20, 30, 50 amp electrical and water hookup for all of our sites as well.
Nice. Nice. I actually had one campground that I spoke to, and they were also fully funded by themselves. They actually partnered with a little trade school that was teaching high schoolers how to just build stuff, and they would buy the material and then they would kind of donate the labor as part of their kind of classroom setting for this trade school.
Yeah,
And so
we have the same program going on for those modern cabins with a local trade school. Us and Newaygo County are both taking a lot of advantage of that to get some more modern cabins in, hopefully in the next couple of years.
yeah, well, tell us more about that. I'd love for that to be highlighted again. So y'all were the second one that did that, and I think it's such a great idea to work with a local trade school. So how does that work for y'all?
Yeah, I believe it's directly through. I believe it's a high school over in Newaygo County, or I believe it's Big Prairie Township, which would be on the opposite side of Hardy Pond from where Broward Park is. And we have a partnership with them, so we just essentially pay for the materials. They donate that labor, and we kind of highlight the youth in the area that are learning valuable skills for their careers. For those that are planning to go into trades, which is a very popular career path around here, especially. So just highlighting that and getting some new buildings for us to enjoy as well.
And how many of those do y'all do a year? Do y'all kind of continue to add those as you can afford it?
Yeah, essentially as we can afford it. Right now we have 2 of those modern cabins through that partnership. Those are both at School Section Lake. I believe in the next year or 2 we have intentions of putting a few more in over at Broward Park as well. Which is our largest park, so it'll be nice to have some more modern amenities in our cabins over there.
And what do those rent for per night? Or is it seasonal? Does it depend? Does it fluctuate? Is it all pretty much the same price year round?
Yeah, it's a 2-night minimum stay, generally 3-night minimum stay for holidays, and it kind of ranges from $45 to $55 depending on the weekend rates, holiday rates, or just a standard Monday through Thursday.
And then what? Let's see. So if you've got $4,000 is what they cost y'all to build, or what's the all-in cost to kind of put one of those on your property?
I'm actually not positive on the total cost. I want to say it's between $4,000 and $7,000, somewhere in that ballpark.
So really, they should kind of pay for themselves, in maybe 150 days, something like that?
Yeah, exactly. And the cabins, especially as the modern cabins, we get more of those. They are obviously more popular. A lot of people do appreciate having the kitchenette, a separate sleeping quarters, as well as the heat. It can get pretty chilly up here throughout the summer and at night. So the modern cabins have been pretty popular over at School Section, and we're hoping that carries over to Broward.
Yeah, and that can be a pretty good revenue stream. I think anytime you can get your money back in within a year,
exactly.
Go for it. I don't think you may have any kind of bank not wanting to fund that, or maybe any type of other funding source that could maybe lend you enough for 10 cabins, and then that's all paid for within a year.
Exactly.
That's a great model. And so for all of you listening, if you have the campsites and the land available, and of course something beautiful like the Dragon Trail and a lake, then you can, do like Jaydin and Rick did and partner with a local trade school, and they can practice building stuff on your property, and then that'll be a perpetual revenue stream for campers to come around. Now, anything else aside from the campsites? Oh, so what do you charge for like your little campsites, or is that just free with the car pass?
Yeah, generally with those camping fees, like it also varies based on standard weekday rates, holiday rates, and weekends. But I believe for all the parks they start around $35, and then it can get up to $55 per night, depending on full hookup, whether it's what we call a prime site, which generally would be whether it has full hookup, better views, a better location in the campground, kind of closer to bathhouses or concessions. And that would be our prime site. And we do also offer seasonal camping as well. So we do kind of hold about 50% of each campground available for seasonal camping. And those prices also range depending on campground, as well as prime site or full hookup, and size of the site as well.
And we adjust, we see how things are going, as far as our seasonals and our nightlies and weeklies and so on in the short term. But it is something we can adjust, and we've done that recently. We're monitoring it. We were a little concerned here recently with the weather. It's like, my God, it's so cold and rainy, nobody's coming out. But we've turned the corner on that. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, of the 2 million, what kind of expenses do y'all have that kind of choose through that 2 million throughout the year?
Yeah, I'd say definitely one of our largest expensive is obviously staff, paying of staff throughout the season. Especially we hire about between all 4 campground locations, as well as hiring roving rangers, stuff like that. We have about 50 seasonal employees every year, and a full-time staff of 7. So that's definitely a good chunk of that revenue goes directly into that. The other chunk goes directly into paying for repairs that go in the parks. Obviously, we have 8 locations, and we've been here for quite a while. So as things get older and need replaced, so I'd say general maintenance and staffing are definitely our 2 kind of
Those are the
largest costs.
Yeah. And it looks like you'll have a lot of room to grow as far as the campsite. So what's the acreage that y'all have?
In terms of the parks, I'd say ballpark with all 4 of the modern campgrounds and then our 2 rustics, I'd say a good 10-15,000 acres total across the county park system.
Wow. And it's mostly, it doesn't really require any like grass cutting or anything like that. You'll basically leave it, like Mother Nature found it, or do you have areas where you have to kind of go?
At all of the campgrounds, we keep the grass trimmed throughout the season. We do have 2 rustic campground locations as well, which is just focused on primitive camping that we co-manage with the DNR. They're both on state game land. Those we also trim the sites for, because you are able to fit a camping unit back there, just no hookup options.
Right.
So we do keep those trimmed, but keep the rest of those rustic areas kind of more for overgrowth.
Now, do y'all have any images of that I could maybe look online and pull up, or is that part of that Dragon Trails thing?
Yeah, on our website, mecostacountyparks.com, in that top section under Haymarsh or Tubbs Lake, that'll be our 2 rustic locations for you.
Mecosta County. What was it? Mecosta County what?
mecostacountyparks.com.
Parks. I'm just now learning how to work this. Oh, there we go, Mecosta.
Yeah, and at the very top, there should be a tab for the parks. And if you do the drop down,
it'll list all the parks.
Either Haymarsh or Tubbs Lake will be what you're looking for.
Here we go. All right.
Yeah. Just
now, where do I navigate to? It says County Parks.
Yep, right up there. Yep. And then click Tubbs Lake or Haymarsh Lake.
There we go.
Yeah, that's kind of what a standard rustic site will look like over at Tubbs Lake. That's a photo. Tubbs Lake is really cool because it does have kind of a mainland section, then what we call the island as well. You can kind of see it in that picture there. It's more of a peninsula than an island. You can drive right onto it. But that has they have a total of about a little over 30 sites between the 2 locations for Tubbs Lake, boat launches on each side. And and we do keep those pretty well groomed, but we also let them get a little more overgrown just to
Right.
because they are a more primitive location.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Man, I wish I would have had this as a potential revenue stream when I was starting some of my companies. I would have had this thing. It would be
But
hotel.
Yeah, and Tubbs Lake and Haymarsh, both of those primitive campgrounds are really popular with the hunters during our hunting seasons. Like I said, they are on state game land. Both of them are. So I've heard Tubbs has some good bird hunting, and so does Haymarsh. Haymarsh also has some great white-tailed deer options as well for our hunters in the area. Both great areas. Haymarsh is really cool. It actually used to be 6 lakes that were dammed together quite a few years back. I believe in 1949, 1950, around then. So it's probably about a mile and a half winding roadway through the area with just under 20 campsites kind of spread out down the road. And we also have a group campsite.
Yeah. Now, what's y'all's kind of future vision over the next 5 or 10 years? Things y'all would like to accomplish, maybe things y'all want to maybe improve on the sites?
Yeah, for sure. We definitely like to get all of our modern campgrounds kind of up to being able to have the full 50 amp hookup. Some of our sites only get up to 20, 30. So we'd like to all across the board get up to 50 amp hookup. We've been looking into possibly doing full hookup at our parks that don't have full hookup, as well as Wi-Fi capability in the future. We do currently have a hotspot at each of our modern campgrounds, generally kind of near the front office pavilion areas. But we are potentially looking into getting Wi-Fi installed in the future as it comes across. And obviously, Save the Ponds is one of our big focuses right now over at Paris Park. Like I said, it is the site of the second oldest fish rearing facility in the state of Michigan. So it has a lot of history there, and it's just fallen into disrepair. So right now we're working with Rick and a community action group called Save the Ponds in order to raise community funding to hopefully get some more renovations going and get that up to speed and get it reopened, because at the moment it is closed because it is a safety hazard as it stands, as pond walls are collapsing, and just need to kind of rebuild that. So that's one of our large projects coming up as we're kind of finishing other projects and looking to the future.
Now, is that what you had sent me that video on, that little 3-minute video?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me go ahead and find that and play that for everybody. And then we can come back and explain a little bit more about what that's all about.
Sure.
All right. Present. And then that's something that you do a lot with, Rick, correct?
Yes, pretty active with that.
Save the Pond thing. Okay. Well, we'll watch this little video, and then let's see, full screen. All right, we'll watch this and we'll come right back.
The Paris fish ponds were established in 1881 as the second oldest fish rearing facility in the state of Michigan, and it was operated as one of the highest producing fish rearing facilities in the state of Michigan.
The ponds are meant to bring in families, children, to see the natural wildlife, to look at the trout, just to see what a beautiful creature that is.
This place has been around a long time. In 1964, the Department of Natural Resources closed the hatchery. And 1971, the Park Commission acquired the property, and then in 1973 opened it as a park.
The major issue that we've had is the intake system for Pond 3, which feeds everything further down the line from that, failed. It collapsed. It kind of had a sinkhole area there.
2 years ago, one of the walls on the raceway to the Muskegon River collapsed?
A primary factor of that would be definitely the erosion of kind of the historical walls of the ponds. The fish hatchery was built in 1881, so it's kind of been a long time coming where it's going to need restoration.
Back fish ponds are closed. The walls have started to cave in, where it's no longer safe for the community and people visiting to go back there.
We're at a point now where we can't get water into our pond 3, which means we can't get water into the further down areas of the park, which would be ponds 4, 5, or 6.
There is no fish back there anymore. There is no ducks back there. There's only the one fish pond up front open.
So a primary thing that we're going to be focusing on to repair that raceway in particular is going to be reinforcing the walls, especially in the areas where the ponds are drained right now. They don't have any of that pressure to kind of keep the walls in the ground. So one of our biggest initial projects is going to be to restore the raceway structure.
I'm happy to work with a group of volunteers called Save the Ponds.
Save the Ponds is a committee that was started so that we could repair the fish ponds here at Paris Park.
We're raising money to fund the restoration in phases. The first phase, of course, part A of that phase 1 is to do the raceway wall, and then part B of that is the south wall on pond 3.
If we can get that raceway fixed, and then we can start working on getting that second pond repaired.
We need the stuff back. We need year-round activities. I've gotten with some really good volunteers, and we do everything for free to do these events.
Every dollar counts. So, maybe you don't have $1,000 to donate, but maybe you have 5. That 5 times 1,000 adds up to 5,000.
We have a website, parisponds.org. We're on Facebook at Save the Ponds.
We're looking to get donations not only from individuals, but from corporations, and work together to get these ponds back to how they were years ago.
All right, that was a good little video. So who put all that together?
Right. Well, it was actually a group of students from Ferris State University, and they have a broadcast and video technology department. Somebody gave us a contact name with a professor that runs the program. We kind of run that up the flagpole as a project they might want to take on, and they were very interested, so came out and put that together for us.
Fantastic. They did a great job.
Yeah.
And so, well, go ahead.
No, we're very pleased with it. I mean, they took a real interest in it right off. So.
Mm-hmm. And then what kind of donors or volunteer groups or nonprofits are y'all kind of looking for if you had to pair with an ideal nonprofit or someone that wanted to help y'all out?
Well, I can tell you, first of all, early on, we were struggling just to get organized as a viable group and eventually find some kind of a 501c3 status so that we could bring money in, have a place to put it, and ended up actually with a fiscal sponsorship from the Fremont Area Community Foundation. That's operating great. So now we take donations in. There's a place for that. We haven't really taken much money out of there. We don't have a ton of money right now, but so who we're looking for, I mean, we're getting out there like every day, and we're talking to, civic groups, community organizations. And then we keep on bringing new people into our committee. We have about 43 people who are somewhat active. We have 18 people who are very focused and active in our community. It's hard to find somebody. You don't have any money, hard to find somebody that's talented to put together a web page for you and keep that operating. Somebody who put up a Facebook page. We even have a YouTube channel, Save the Ponds, The Adventures of Sammy, the Rainbow Trout. And to find somebody that will do that and do it well and continue and, refresh this thing. And they're doing it, as a volunteer. So all of their own time, their own talent. And we have, of course, committee members who are out there, asking their contacts for dollars. As Jaydin mentioned, we have 16,000 households in Mecosta County. And it may be unrealistic to think, but if every household in the county donated $20 one time, we'd have $320,000. That gets the first part of this done, and then we're open and operational. So, and we're seeking grants from corporations, some public funding. There's a lot of competition for those dollars, and we don't have any professional grant writers and
Right.
application writers. So that again is volunteer work. But some of these community foundations have been very helpful in assisting us and saying, okay, we'll kind of walk you through this process with this application. And then each of these foundations have a board of directors. And oftentimes those boards are made up of, very civic minded people who are funding other projects elsewhere. So they see what we're doing and you can come back in and say, hey, I like the idea of this. So we're hopeful on that.
Yeah. And so, give me an idea of how much money you're trying to raise for each phase.
Right now, we need another $150,000 to be operational again, to open up the ponds. We have $105,000 in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
We feel we need 150 to do the job. Well, then you go, well, wait a minute, you just said you had 100. Well, what we really need is 150,000 to do the job, and we want to keep this other 100 in the bank, because when you're applying for grants, oftentimes there is a proportional match that's required. I'm asking for $50,000 from your organization, and I've got skin in the game here. If you'll match my 50,000. So that's kind of where we're at. We have a rough estimate that, this place is old. It was established 5 years after Custer's last stand. Okay.
Wow.
So, 1881. We think of frilly hats and top hats and parasols and everything, and that's true. But it was a very long time ago, and our country was very different. It was 9 years before the last of the Indian Wars with the United States government. This place has been around a long time. It's a wonderful piece, an example of 19th century engineering.
Mm-hmm.
When we look at the overall system, there's 5 ponds and the raceway. We estimate that the total cost of restoration will be about $2 million. But if we do this initial phase, we can open up the pond system again, be operational. And as we generate funds, we transition ourselves from a committee operating with a fiscal sponsorship to actually a foundation and our own 501c3. So as that funding comes in, project by project, we can actually, because there are dams and valves, we can shut off one pond and work on that.
Right.
And then, as the funding is there. So to give you a picture of the overall scope.
Now, how long has it taken y'all to raise the current funding that y'all have? And do y'all have any timeline that y'all are, a goal at least?
Sure. As I said, last year, we got together as a small group of people talking, and the initial conversation was about asking for a millage again. But that didn't seem real popular. So then we took another look at this. There was a consideration about just filling the ponds in, being done with the whole thing. But even that is a significant undertaking. Not only you need engineering for that, even to demolish the thing properly, adequately, so that, because water is a powerful thing. You're not going to stop the water that's coming in. It's got to go somewhere. So looking at what an undertaking it would be just to get rid of it, we decided let's take another look at this and get back in and see if we can restore it.
Yeah. And now, what did it used to be used for? It was used to kind of raise fish and hatch.
Exactly. It was the second state hatchery established in 1881 by the Department of Conservation, the predecessor to our Department of Natural Resources. And actually, fish were fertilized here in the hatchery building, and the fry were, raised a little larger. The fingerlings went into the ponds, eventually netted and transported by old farmer milk cans by rail car to fisheries throughout the state, trout and salmon primarily. And then in 1938, the operation transitioned to transfer by truck. And so state trucks with those cartons.
Now, how does this tie in any way to the Dragon Trail efforts, or is that kind of totally separate, or is it just
It's
kind of like?
really, I mean, it's another tourist attraction.
Mhm.
Um, when people ask us about, well, what are you gonna do with this thing in the future? Are you gonna be a hatchery again?
Yeah,
We we don't really envision ourselves, fertilizing eggs again over in the hatchery building. But
yeah,
I mean, there was a period of time where we were a fish rearing facility, even though we weren't, a hatchery anymore. And still, I mean, the DNR releases fish here from, at the river at our property every year. Um, trout, fingerlings, and so on. If we had to envision what we're going to do in the future, we'd probably be operational either in a public format or a private or a combination of fish rearing again. It wasn't too long ago we had an experiment with the Department of Natural Resources raising trout or raising walleye here. I'm sorry. It turned out that the water was too cold for walleye,
mm,
so that didn't end well. But ultimately, I mean, there was a time where you could, the park here actually had a fishing opportunity for families to come in and pay by the inch or the pound and catch some fish here as well. We see some of that, so we probably envision the first three ponds being trout, and then probably pond four. We've talked about a turtle pond with landings and sun opportunities for native species of turtles, and of course the last pond, pond five, traditionally has been the bird pond where we had
mm,
swans and geese and ducks, kingfisher, herons, every feathered friend of the river here. So that's kind of what we
mm.
envision. And ultimately, I think probably guided, narrated group tours of the grounds, some history of the hatchery. It could be quite a facility again.
Fantastic. So, Jaden, how did you get involved with both of these projects?
Yeah, so I kind of came in. I started in my role with the county park system in September. So I started just as the Dragon Trail was opening up. So I wasn't super involved in all the planning and everything for that. I'm getting more involved. I am excited to start getting events and stuff planned out there. As I'm the marketing and events manager for the park system. So I'm
Mm,
super excited to start getting more student groups and stuff out to the Dragon Trail. And then in terms of Save the Ponds, we were when I started in September, the committee was kind of just getting started and unveiling everything. We had our launch in November, so that 104 or so $1,000 that we have in the bank right now has been donated just from basically September to now. With a good about $75,000 of that was from, like I said earlier, the marijuana excise tax funding through the county. So
mhm.
that's been a big help. But yeah, I started, and I think it was the week I started, they were due for a Save the Ponds meeting. So or the week after, and I attended that, and decided to get involved, through my role as the marketing manager for the county, and just get involved, kind of help out with any marketing or communications outreach and support that I could, as well as spreading the word, not only in the Mecosta County area, but through my network down in Grand Rapids and beyond as well.
So, take us through your thought process as far as starting a marketing campaign. Was there any marketing going on when you got there? You just kind of picked it up, or you just kind of start from scratch, and maybe even touch a little on the digital marketing from whatever Facebook or website or YouTube channel y'all have?
Yeah, for sure. When I had first started coming in, we hadn't started any marketing efforts yet, and then I still don't. I'm not the lead on any of the Save the Pond stuff since it is more so separate from the county. It's like a community. It's more of a community action group. But I do
Mhm.
offer any additional support or assistance, any resharing any information, from Jessica Sparrow, who does all of our Facebook, YouTube, all of that stuff. I've also offered my previous experience to kind of guide where they should be taking things. I don't want to say consulting, but in a way, consulting on what they're planning to do,
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
marketing for the initiative, and just offering any help I can, that we can offer, as the park commission, in collaborating with the community.
Mm. And so, do y'all have a Facebook page, YouTube channel? You said website stuff going.
Yep, it'll be on our Facebook page. Will be under Save the Ponds, hyphen Paris, Michigan. just don't wanting to get it too confused with Paris, France, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, Save the Ponds, Paris, Michigan, and then our YouTube channel will be, I believe it's under the same moniker as Save the Ponds, Paris, Michigan. And through YouTube, we're focusing on, like I said, Jessica, our lovely social media person, has drafted up, I believe it's a series of 4 videos related to Sammy the rainbow trout. It's more oriented towards kind of the younger audience, for those kids that want to pull on their parents' heartstrings potentially. It kind of goes into learning about the different species of plants and animals that surround the ponds and who will be impacted as we kind of continue to go through this project.
And of course, we have a website, parisponds.org.
Yeah, and if you want to pull that up, you can also see all of our various giving levels, as well as current progress. We also have a news tab that you can go through to look at any of our news coverage that we've had so far. Like I said, we've had who all have we had? I believe Wood TV has done a spot for us. M Live has done a few spots for us as well as other various local and regional news organizations in northern Michigan.
All right, I think I got Paris Ponds pulled up. Let's see. Oh, nope, not that one.
parisponds.org.
Yeah. All right, here we go. It's pulling up. Got it pulled up on press.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep, there we go.
Well, you just watched that video.
Right.
And then there's a radio interview here recently with a band of locals. It's a Friday morning show. And then
you got this one. This was another, a news spot?
Yeah, that was with Up North Michigan. I believe they're based out of the Traverse City area, so about 70 miles north of us.
So when we had our kickoff, then up North Michigan, and Fox 17 came in from Grand Rapids, and so we got some pretty good coverage there in our kickoff. That kickoff was on November 22nd. So
yeah,
as Jaydin says, so I don't know what is it? Are we 7 months, whatever?
Yeah, about 6-7 months out from the grand unveiling of Save the Ponds. We had a really great kickoff session with a bunch of people invited from the community, news organizations, some local both county commissioners and members of various township boards all came out to kind of learn more about the project, see where we were going. We also unveiled the check reveal for that marijuana excise tax funding that we received in the $75,000 for that. So yeah, it was a great event. Got a lot of people interested in the organization. I guess now looking forward with Save the Ponds, our biggest focus is focused on applying for any additional grants that we may be interested in, as well as getting corporate and business donations kind of at a larger scale. Because the community is great, and the community has shown us a lot of love, given us quite a lot of funds as well. We do know that the community giving and individual giving isn't going to be what fully gets us to our goal. So focusing pretty heavily on corporate donors at the moment.
Yeah. And so what's the best way for people to get involved, either through volunteer or maybe to donate, or who do they contact?
Well, if you go to the home button there on this site, there'll be a contact spot lower. So, yeah. So if you go to the bottom there, all the way.
There we go.
There's some.
Oh, is this one of the videos?
Yeah. So there's donate now, and then there's also a way to contact us at the very bottom. Now here's the pavilion where we had our kickoff right there. That's on Pond 2. So,
and then that's the history of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Going to next steps, phasing. Like we were saying earlier, once we get kind of finished with phase 1, phase 2, get the raceway restored, we'll be able to open the ponds up again, at least for people to visit as we're working our way through the other phases.
So you got your sponsorships.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. 104. And so y'all are hoping to maybe get this by the end of the year, or at least that would be a decent.
Yeah, we would like to get that initial $150,000 or $250,000 investment to get those first phases done by the end of the year, and hopefully get construction going on those initial phases beginning of next year if possible. We're just we're hoping for the best.
So there's
Yeah.
a way to donate. I mean, these are the giving levels listed under there. So I mean, you could click on there and say, okay, well, who donated these amounts? So it gives a name there. There you go, donor recognition list. There you go. So you see how that is.
Yeah.
So every different level of giving, either has some or none, whatever, depending on those gifts.
Yeah, that's good. And I love how it's kind of a community project where you
Yeah,
can get,
yeah,
businesses, local, residents.
it is. Yeah, it's
Great little community project.
very nice. And then, of course, there's a contact place down below for, donate now or questions or comments. So,
Fantastic. Now, how long is this little video? The little fish?
I believe it's just 3 or 4 minutes.
mhm.
Yeah, I think we got a little enough
Want to
time.
watch that? That's something, like I said, Jessica whipped up, kind of get some storytelling going on related to the ponds and kind of what we're looking at.
Welcome to the Paris Ponds, a magical place where nature comes alive. Today we'll meet Sammy, a curious rainbow trout with a big heart and a love for adventure.
Hi there, friends. I'm Sammy the Rainbow Trout. I live here in the Paris Ponds, and oh boy, do I have some stories to tell you. Want to come along on my adventure? Let's go. These ponds are my home. I swim, play, and grow here. Over there, you can see the raceway, a cool underwater pathway where my friends and I practice swimming really fast. And this is Pond 2, right next to the big pavilion. It's a great spot to meet up with other fish and have fun splashing around. But oh no, some parts of the ponds are in trouble. The walls are breaking, the water's getting low, and it's harder for my fishy friends to live here. That's why I'm so excited about the Save the Ponds project. People in our community are coming together to fix the ponds and make them better for everyone. Fish, birds, and even people. And guess what? You can help too. You can tell your family about the ponds and why it's important to protect them. Maybe you can even visit the ponds to see all the cool things here. Oh, and if you want, you can tell your grown-ups to donate to the Save the Ponds project. Every little bit helps. My big wish is for the Paris ponds to be beautiful and full of life again so that fish like me and families like yours can enjoy them for many years to come. Together, we can make it happen. Thanks for joining me today, friends. Remember, you can make a big difference, even if you're small like me. See you at the Paris Ponds.
Visit parisponds.org to learn more and join the effort to help Sammy and his friends. See you next time. Welcome.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, just kind of a fun little video series going on to get more youth involvement as well in the ponds. Obviously, they can't necessarily donate a lot of their own funds, but they are able to kind of pull on the heartstrings of their parents, as well as various volunteer opportunities as we kind of get more into construction and as manning the tables, stuff like that at various events. I know we're going to be at the Mecosta County Fair this year, kind of soliciting at that and trying to get donations. And just more community support, community involvement. Even if we don't get a ton of donations at any events we go to, just the exposure is great. More people need to know about it.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, so if you can help out at all, definitely reach out to them, see if you can donate, help them out. I think you're doing a great job. Great little community project. And so tell us a little bit about what your marketing thoughts are around the Dragon Trail and anything else that you're kind of heading up for marketing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the Dragon Trail, we've definitely been focusing. We're in an interesting area, being in Mecosta County, where we're kind of west central Michigan. So it's a great opportunity to kind of hit anyone south of us that might potentially be going up to Traverse City or going up to the UP for a weekend, the Upper Peninsula. That would kind of it's a great opportunity to experience northern Michigan without that long haul trip up north. So that's really what we try to focus on, because it's a little bit out of the way. So we really focus on Grand Rapids, Detroit, Lansing, even Mount Pleasant area, and then going into kind of Indiana, Ohio, because we do get quite a few people from those states, bordering states as well, coming up north.
Now, are you looking to drive most of your traffic through Facebook or your Facebook group, or where do you get that information out? How do you kind of build your online community?
Yeah, primarily most of our information is sent out via Facebook. Our primary demographic is definitely more Facebook oriented than they are, say, Instagram, for example. That is one of my larger plans for this year on the docket, to just get really dive into our Instagram presence, as Instagram, I know, has been making quite a few updates in the past couple months in terms of formatting, kind of focus more so on video content. So I'd love to get some more video content posted through our various Instagram channels. We do have accounts for all of our parks, as well as the main park commission page, but they haven't been getting a ton of use in the past couple of years. So that is definitely on my list, to focus a little bit more on Instagram, Reels, but primarily through Facebook, as well as primarily communicating through guest experiences. So accepting submissions of photos of people who have used the trail or gone through the park system. At the end of last season, when I had first initially started in the position, I had posted just a little QR code for people to upload any of their photos that they've taken all season, to potentially be shared out and posted on their behalf through our various social media channels. So really just focusing on that community experience and showing everyone that this could be you if you just come give us a chance, try us out.
Right. And how many Facebook followers are y'all up to, or how old are those accounts?
Throughout all the accounts, I believe the Mecosta County Park Commission page, so kind of our all-encompassing for all the campgrounds and day use areas, has I believe they're in the 4,000 range. Broward Park is definitely our more popular park, and it is closest in proximity to Grand Rapids, so we get a lot of those folks. And Broward, I'd say, they're in about the 5.5 thousand follower range. School section has about 6,000. And then Merrill, Goral, and Paris are between 1,000 and 2,000 followers apiece.
And is Dragon Trail just embedded in those, or is it going to have its own?
The Dragon Trail does have its own. Let me pull it up for you here, and then I can see exactly where they're at, because they have quite a big reach in comparison to some of those.
Yeah, that seemed like something would be one of the easier ones to market.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people interested. A lot more people getting into the biking and all of that stuff. So yeah, it looks like the Dragon has just under 10,000 followers. So outpacing us a little bit in that regard.
And you're not directly managing that one. That's just kind of like a partner.
Yep, we still we co-manage it a little bit, but Newaygo County primarily focuses on their Facebook marketing.
Fantastic. Okay, any final messages for anyone on how they can get involved with these two projects?
Yeah, all I can say, in at least in terms of the Dragon Trail, it is finished. It's open. Like I said, it opened in September. So if you're interested in going down the best new backcountry trail of 2024, as awarded by singletracks.com, we highly recommend making a visit over to Newaygo or Mecosta counties. Like we said, we do have that collaborative pass with Newaygo County, so it's a great opportunity, not just to ride the Dragon, but also to visit some of the parks and day use opportunities in Newaygo County. Come visit us in Mecosta County. We've got some great brewery options, great local businesses, and some just great opportunity over on the Muskegon River. So that's what I have to say about the Dragon Trail. Any final thoughts on Save the Ponds, Rick?
Well, I'll just add to the Dragon Trail. I mean, come out and walk it, hike it, and ride it. There's a lot of fun around here. A lot of good entertainment and restaurant, eatery opportunities here. A lot of amenities in our county surrounding area. As far as the ponds go, take a look at us. It's amazing how many people, we talk to have a wonderful memory of this place, the old fish hatchery. And I've been there, and oh, what a wonderful thing. And, they sympathize with the situation. And so, again, it's like Jaydin said, we get out there, we tell our story, spread the word. So please log on, parisponds.org, and take a look at us.
Fantastic. Well, guys, thank y'all so much for reaching out to me and coming on to the show today. I loved kind of highlighting y'all's little special project just as another great example of what goes on in Parks and Recreation and the kind of stuff that they find themselves in. Thank you all so much again for reaching
Thank you
out.
for having us.
Thank you for having us on, Craig. Appreciate it.
Yeah, fantastic episode. But yeah, let me know. Keep me posted. Maybe we can have y'all back in a year or so and kind of get an update on how everything's
Oh,
going.
that'd be fun,
For
wouldn't it?
sure. That'd be
Yeah.
great. We'd love to get an update out. So show everyone what we're working on in a year.
Yeah.
Always something new coming on. We could be in a completely different spot.
Yes, definitely. Hopefully we can get that phase 1 pushed through for y'all. So
Yeah.
appreciate you coming on the show today.
Thank you, Craig.
Thank you.
Y'all take care.
You too.
Bye now.
All right, another great episode with Jaydin and Rick working with Mecosta County and the Dragon Trail and their Save the Pond initiative. Another great example of what goes on in Parks and Recreation, the kind of work they're doing to really improve our communities and just, bring people out into nature and just experience some of the best scenery that we have here in America. And I love what they're doing. When they reached out to me, I was like, absolutely, we want to have y'all on the show. Appreciate that. Okay, so this was a leadership series, and this is now, actually, we're changing the name a little bit. We're calling it now Leaders in Parks and Rec, because it's not really a series. That kind of makes you think that there's an end, but it's just going to be Leaders in Parks and Rec 4 days a week, 12 noon Eastern. We've got a lot of great leaders coming in on this show through Parks and Rec. This was our flagship initial show that we launched when we started the Daily Parks and Rec show. So now we are kind of a family of shows. We are now going to be helping several podcasters that are already working inside of Parks and Rec. A couple of these are like state associations. Some are just some Parks and Rec people that wanted to do a monthly podcast. And so we'll be helping them out. They'll be part of the Daily Parks and Rec Show network, and we'll kind of be taking care of all the back end stuff so that they can focus on just delivering their message, bringing great news and information and insights and wisdom to Parks and Rec. And we just want them to focus on making content, not about all the back end stuff that we have all the engineers and video editors and stuff for. So that'll be coming up probably in the next month or so. But in the meantime, tomorrow is our official launch for our latest weekly show, Youth Sports Mastery, with co-host Aaron Locks. And so we have a great, I think he's already lined up roughly the next 9 guests. We're getting them scheduled right now. That's going to be a 1:30 show. So every Thursday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, we're going to talk about youth sports, calling the show Youth Sports Mastery. And so tune into that, because youth sports is such a huge part of Parks and Recreation, where we have all these little leagues, and it's not just about like little league baseball, football, basketball, but also like volleyball, pickleball, tennis, pretty much all the different ways that youth sports, youth activities is incorporated, and where we're really having a lot of those coaching moments that happening at the community level. And so we want to give them a weekly show, which we have, and that'll be, like I said before, every Thursday, 1:30. I'm also going to pitch and I'm so sorry we could not make the facilities maintenance show. We had internet issues here with this big storm. And so I'm going to reschedule Daniel, talk to him this morning. Appreciate Daniel rescheduling that with us. But here's our little commercial for the facilities maintenance show, and then we'll wrap things up after this and close out with the YPN promo. Welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, where we highlight the essential work that keeps our parks and facilities thriving. From local ball fields to multi-use athletic complexes, field maintenance ensures every space is safe, ready, and welcoming for play and community events. Facility maintenance is the backbone of operational excellence, ensuring that recreation centers, playgrounds, and shared spaces are functional, clean, and built to last. Behind the scenes, equipment maintenance keeps vital tools and machinery in peak condition. At the core of future forward thinking is sustainability management, integrating green practices that reduce environmental impact and enhance long-term resource stewardship. Facilities maintenance is more than routine upkeep. It's strategic, essential, and foundational to building healthy and resilient communities. This is the Daily Parks and Rec Show, honoring the professionals who keep our spaces running and our communities strong. All right, so this is our third week of the Facilities Maintenance Show, one of our most recent launches for Parks and Rec professionals that are maintaining all the facilities. And this ranges from urban forestry to whether you're maintaining a golf course, combating Mother Nature and fighting all the weeds, spraying chemicals, fertilizers, you name it, from also maintaining playgrounds and aquatic centers, and you name it. We are also highlighting some vendors that work in this industry that they're going to come on as kind of an educational capacity. And then also I would love to highlight, and I've actually got a few coming on with this latest technology that's coming into this industry, from robotics and even some AI stuff that's coming on to help us manage all this work that's coming in Parks and Recreation through facilities maintenance. So that's a Monday through Thursday show, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. And then lastly, one of my favorite shows, which is Young Professionals Network, every Friday. Thank you, Molly and Alice, for coming on last Friday. We have a weekly show for young professionals. And this is something where one of the things I really want to develop is a strong internship framework for cities to copy. Cities and Parks and Rec departments are the best at collaborating with each other, sharing information, and just copying what's already working well. And so we've actually found through the Daily Parks and Rec Show a couple of departments that are doing an excellent job with an internship program. So we're going to bring them onto the show, and then we're going to hopefully leave that show with a framework that we can share with everyone who would like to start an internship program, work with local universities to get college kids to do a semester volunteer or paid or some combination of both. And that way we're all of the Parks and Rec department just have a never-ending stream of interns that are experiencing Parks and Rec as a career. And then we can get a lot of talented people in this unbelievable industry. So we'll close it out with our little promo that we made for YPN, but looking forward to that this Friday. Got a lot of exciting stuff planned for the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Appreciate all the love and support. Craig LeBlanc signing off with Leaders in Parks and Rec. We'll see y'all here tomorrow for the Facilities Maintenance Show, 10:30 a.m. Y'all have a great day. Love you guys. Bye. The future of parks and recreation is here, and it starts with you. Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Recreation Show, where we bring you the latest insights, trends, and conversations shaping the world of parks and recreation. Today, we're diving into something that's shaping the future of our industry, Young Professional Networks, or YPN. If you love your job and love the parks and recreation community and are looking to connect with the next generation of leaders, this episode is for you. YPN is where driven, passionate professionals come together to connect, grow, and make a real impact. It's not just about networking, it's about building the future of our communities. Why join YPN? Career growth and mentorship. Learn from the best in the industry. Innovative ideas and collaboration. Be part of the next big movement. Leadership development. Take charge, make decisions, and create change. Whether you're just starting out or looking to take your career to the next level, YPN is your gateway to success. From exclusive networking opportunities to cutting-edge industry insights, this is where you build your legacy. Because the future of parks and recreation starts with you.